Today we are introducing Robbie Clark, our dietitian, and Robbie has been with us for about 5 years now, and we're just going to find out a little bit more about who he is and what he does. So Robbie, what's your official title and credentials?
So I am an accredited practicing dietitian, and I have completed a bachelor degree in exercise science and nutrition, and then went on to do my master's in nutrition and dietetics.
And what does APD, or accredited practicing dietitian, actually mean?
So essentially it's the acronym that you gain after you've gone to do a further 12-month mentorship program. So once you've finished your undergrad or master's degree in dietetics, you do come out with as a fully qualified dietitian. However, if you go on to do that mentorship program, then you just gain that title. Therefore, it just means that you've had a little bit more experience working with someone who also has some more experience, a little bit more knowledgeable in the field.
And what got you interested in becoming a dietitian?
Yes. Well, my background is an elite gymnast. So I trained for many, many years from the age of 7 up until I was in my mid-20s, early 20s. So sport was a big part of my life, and so was health, you could say. And therefore, I wanted to combine my love for exercise with also food, because a big interest of mine was how food could affect performance on everyday level, but also at a higher scale of athletic performance. So I guess that was the initial way of me getting into my studies.
And how long have you been practicing all up?
So I did a little bit of work in the clinical area in hospitals. As a dietitian, there are many different pathways that you can go after you've completed your degree. One is in the clinical sector, so specifically working in hospitals. You can get into the community sector, and then you can also get into food service, or what I did was get into private practice. So I've been now working as a private practice dietitian for about 8 to 9 years. So yeah, quite some time.
All right. And can you tell us exactly what it is that a dietitian does?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that to see a dietitian, you're really just seeing them for weight loss. It's a big misconception. Of course, the food aspect, the dietary aspect and habits are a very big part of what we do. However, there's a lot more to it. I consider myself to be what we call a functional dietitian. So I'm a little bit more integrative or holistic in my approach to how I treat my clients. So therefore, I'm a bit of a happy medium between your typical clinical dietitian and your naturopath. So essentially, anyone who wants to improve their health would benefit from seeing a dietitian. Anyone who's looking at preventative health rather than treating sickness would also benefit. However, we also do manage chronic health conditions as well. So people who are suffering from things like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, even certain mental health conditions. And then you've also got other chronic inflammatory conditions such as inflammatory bowel disease and then irritable bowel syndrome. So there are many different aspects of the dietetics treatment that we can be addressing. And then also athletes. Obviously, anyone who is either a sports dietitian accredited or have gone on to do further studies in sports nutrition, athletic performance and optimising your performance in training and competition would also benefit from seeing a dietitian.
And what would you say are your particular areas of expertise?
So obviously, because of my background, definitely sports nutrition is a passion of mine, but also a big area of treatment. So I currently see a lot of athletes, both endurance athletes and also power sports and anaerobic activity. I also consider myself a specialist in things like gastrointestinal disorders and health. And then I also like to treat cardiovascular disease or coronary heart disease. These are things that also combine high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and treating that naturally. And then also I specialise in hormone balances. So balancing specific hormones related to either fertility or just every day in general for weight loss. And then of course you can't go past the more metabolic conditions such as type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome and overweight and obesity. is my other areas of expertise.
All right, and just to finish off, tell us more about yourself and what you like to do outside of work.
Yeah, well, obviously it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but I absolutely love to cook. I have this huge passion for food, of all different types of cuisine, because after all, it is all about a work-life balance. So therefore, being in the kitchen is definitely where I'm at my most zen, and enjoy really cooking up a storm for my friends, my family. So that's definitely one part of my life that I do a lot of. The other part is sport and just recreation and activities. So each year I try to do something new, do something different, whether it's to push the limits or just for enjoyment. So for example, last year I joined a mixed netball team and did that for quite some time. So I'm always looking for new challenges, but keeping myself busy and also active in the sporting realm, but also in the kitchen are my two greatest loves. Apart from that, you can see me just relaxing and just doing things that every other normal person likes to do.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.